Welcome back to r/relationship advice, where a woman apparently got pregnant while she was asleep. If you are wondering how that is possible, you should watch the video until the end. Without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. The first one is titled The Hiring Manager, 30s Female, where I, 30s Female, am interviewing is someone I fired last year. I hired a girl over the summer. She didn't make it through her probationary period. She came highly recommended by her references. She was a fast learner, had worked through a merger and helped it go through seamlessly. I thought she was terrible at her job with my company and fired her on her 89th day. On her exit interview, she stated that she felt she had been poorly trained and that my temper made her worried about asking for further training, stating that I blew up on her when she asked for clarification on something a few weeks in. She then packed her things and left without so much as another word. I found out through a mutual friend the day she was fired she was offered her job back with a $3 an hour raise and added responsibilities despite having quit just days into her 2-week notice. Well, my boss had to lay us all off because of recent events. When I called and got an interview, the woman who spoke to me said that the hiring manager/trainer would be seeing me in the office despite it being closed and everyone working remotely. I was given her name and I instantly felt sick because it was her. I did not realize the company had changed their name since I had seen her resume. Should I even go to the interview? I admit I do have a pretty bad temper that she had witnessed within days of being hired, but I was great at my job. I know her company is desperately hiring workers to meet demand and I need the job. And a user in the comments said, maybe this experience will teach you how to treat people in positions below you. You never know when those people might one day be above you and you will regret having behaved so awfully. And another person said, great advice, basically don't burn any bridges. You would never know who your next boss or hiring manager is going to be. And indeed guys, that is absolutely true, even though sometimes it can be a bit difficult to be on good terms with everybody, but I'm curious, have you ever burned any bridges, so to say, in your work life? Feel free to give us some examples in the comments. And the next one is an update to the hiring manager story. I got a lot of feedback and you guys are right. I did let my temper get the best of me in front of her on multiple occasions and that makes me a bad boss. I went to her office unsure of what to expect. The door was locked when I got there, so I stood outside waiting. She came up behind me and said my name. She asked me if I was ready to interview and I said yes. We sat down in her office and she pulled out her phone and started recording. She asked me if I minded being taped and I said no. She asked me basic interview questions and then she asked me if there was anything that I knew I had to work on. I told her that my temper was an issue in the past, but that I have had a sudden wake-up call about my temper and that I was actively working on it. I apologized for leaving her hanging with training and that I was glad to see she was in a better position. She told me that one of the things she had learned was forgiveness. She had left the company she was at and rehired too because they had wronged her during the merger. When she was offered the position back, it was with an apology, a raise, and now she's in a better position than when she left. She said sometimes an apology can start you down the path towards something better. She told me that she's willing to hire me for a good wage because she knew I was good at a lot of things at my previous job. She said if I lost my temper during the trial period, it would be the end, but she was hopeful that it would not happen. She asked me if I could start on Friday. She started training me today and I definitely realized that I was the problem and why she did not succeed where I was. She is absolutely wonderful at the job with great client interactions. She should have been able to easily pick up the work I was throwing at her if she had been properly trained. I'm glad that she gave the company a second chance because she deserves everything they have given her. I hope to learn a lot from her and show her that she did not waste her time on me. I have also signed up for therapy to manage my anger online. And I gotta say guys, that is a surprisingly wholesome ending, and it is good to see that someone can admit their own faults/mistakes. And by the way guys, I would be extremely happy if you could leave some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you very much in advance, and if you are not subscribed already, just saying, we are very close to 30,000 subscribers and that would make me very happy. And the next one is titled, I, 29 male, just spent another awkward holiday with my girlfriend's 28 female rich family. My girlfriend and I have been together almost 3 years. 99% of the time we are great, she's funny and smart and we have a lot of shared interests. But every time we visit her family, I start doubting everything. They are very wealthy, which by itself is not a bad thing, but they are also very fixated on being rich and have a habit of placing the monetary value of things and people over everything else. I come from a very middle-class background, I have a good education and a decent career that I really enjoy, but I'm definitely not rich. Because of this, they view me as a loser. For example, yesterday we made the 2-hour drive to her parents in my newish Honda. When we got there, her mom immediately ordered me to park the car behind the house so the neighbors would not see it. She was furious we did not bring my girlfriend's Land Rover, which they bought for her as a birthday gift this year. My girlfriend does not like to drive on long trips and I'm not allowed to drive the Land Rover per her parents, so we brought my Honda. My girlfriend's dad has never spoken to me directly, even when she introduced me the first time, he turned to her and said, "What does he do?" So we went in the house and I gave her dad the usual "Hi, Merry Christmas," and he gave me the usual disinterested glance. One more example, last year I made the mistake of bringing a bottle of wine. It was a $25 bottle, which was pricey for me, and I even had the wine store lady help me pick it out. My girlfriend's mom told me to put it in the kitchen. They did not open it while we were there, and she later admitted to my girlfriend that they had re-gifted it to their housekeeper because it was gas station hooch. We managed to get through the day yesterday without much drama, except the car thing, which I would normally consider a win, but today I keep thinking about the whole situation with her family and wondering if I am really willing to deal with these people for the rest of my life. My girlfriend and I have tossed around the possibility of getting married more than once, but I know they will never accept me. If we get married, I will have to see them a lot more than once a year. My girlfriend has given up trying to defend me to her parents and just ignores their bullcrap most of the time. But I can tell it bothers her too. They bankroll a big chunk of her lifestyle and I think she's worried that they will cut her off if she pushes too hard. They have threatened to do this over other things before. So, not to sound like an a-hole, but am I wasting my time? Is this relationship doomed? My girlfriend always tells me she does not care what her family thinks, but I'm not sure that is true. She always tries to downplay how crappy they are to me, but I know I will never be good enough for them, even if I am good enough for her. And a user in the comments wrote, your girlfriend needs to be able to live without her parents' money before you consider marrying her. At the moment they are waiting you out, but probably do small things to undermine the relationship. They view you as the fun their daughter is having before she settles down for something real. They probably exclude you from vacations they would take her on or family events. When they take a family photo, they probably ask you to take the photo. Wealthy parents use money to control their adult children as they have no other avenue to do so and they are used to being in control of everything. They get the kids addicted to nice things and then make demands to continue the flow. Once they deem it serious, they will work to prevent the marriage as they do not think you will be able to provide the lifestyle they want for her. They will withdraw funding for her dream wedding, they will have legal documents drawn up detailing inheritance, divorce, child support, alimony, etc. for the relationship. They will do anything they can to add stress to break it up and they will be very good at it. I grew up in a wealthy community, so I have met all sorts of rich people. Your girlfriend's parents are the a-hole sort of rich people with the importance of material goods they place, and the way they act, I would also wager they are also probably not as wealthy as they want you to think they are. And guys, I'm curious, have you ever had to deal with the sort of rich people that are portrayed in this story? What are your personal experiences with them? Let us know in the comments. Update from the loser whose girlfriend's rich parents treated me like crap on Christmas. I posted a few days ago on a throwaway account thinking it probably would not go anywhere, but hoping a few more experienced internet strangers might give me some insight. It got some serious attention and there was some solid advice and a lot of perspective on the whole situation, and I was like, okay, that was enlightening, and went on with my day. My girlfriend was working that night, so there was not much to do with all that info at the time, and I fell asleep while attempting to formulate my side of the big talk. Little did I know that post blew up overnight and made the front page, and my girlfriend saw it. I did not give any names or locations, but there was enough specific information that she had no trouble figuring out it was me. So Thursday, while at work and still unaware of all of this, I got a dreaded "we need to talk" text. Yep, all caps, and I was like, welp, I'm dead. She was feeling hurt and angry when she sent that text, but she said she had time to read through some of the comments and think about things, and she was not as upset when she came to my apartment later. She brought food. Still, she said I had no right to tell the whole internet about our relationship problems, and I agreed/apologized. She knows I am writing this update and she's going to read it before I post. The reason for that being she admitted the internet actually made some good points regarding our relationship problems. We talked for a long time Thursday night. She said she knows her parents treat people like crap and that they control her and her siblings with money. It is partially a cultural thing, according to her. My girlfriend was born and raised in the US, but her parents grew up rich in a different country and moved here long ago. She said they had a hard time assimilating with upper-class Americans and flaunt their wealth because they are socially insecure. My girlfriend also implied that kind behavior was a lot more acceptable in their home country in the 1980s and they never changed. She grew up seeing them act that way and, at least when she was younger, thought it was normal. On top of that, my girlfriend's mom was/is emotionally and physically abusive. She said her mom used to slap her for talking back and once cut up all of my girlfriend's clothes and bedding after an argument over her going out with some high school friends. My girlfriend said she is still afraid of her mom and has a hard time standing up to her. She also got very little affection from her parents growing up. It seems like that was all replaced with material things, so to her, being cut off from her family financially is the same as being cut off emotionally. All that being said, my girlfriend does not expect me to visit her parents again. She was very apologetic about how they treated me and also about not calling them out. She was really hurt that I said I thought I was wasting my time in the earlier posts, and I said I was sorry, and I am. I was still raging a little when I wrote that. I asked her about maybe letting her parents cut her off financially and living on her own. It would not mean she has to go no contact, but their relationship would be based on something other than money. We've been talking about moving in together for a while now, and she actually suggested she move out of her townhouse that her family pays for and into my apartment. I am totally fine with this. We've been together for almost 3 years and I think we would have moved in together a while ago if her parents were not so against it. She's really nervous about being on her own financially, but she's willing to try it. We spent hours yesterday going through her finances and coming up with a budget. It's going to be a big change in how she lives and thinks about things. I am managing my expectations as far as spending is concerned. No one can change their habits overnight. We are not combining our finances or putting her name on the lease. The plan for now is to split the cost of rent and utilities, and she asked me to put her on an allowance for spending her own money. She also gave me the credit cards her parents pay for and told me to hide them. It is weird to me to have this much control over another person's finances. We are going to give it until my lease is up in March. My apartment is a little small for both of us and all of our stuff, and then, assuming all this works out, we will look for a place to officially live together. She's not going to tell her parents right away, but she promised she will before March. Edit, to everyone who is wondering, her parents are from Mexico. My girlfriend has a job and her own income. She is the co-owner of a business and makes a decent living on her own, just not nearly enough to fund the kind of lifestyle she is used to. Also, before you say,
she shouldn't have been that mad that he posted about their relationship on Reddit,
please for 1 second put yourself in that situation. You are casually browsing the front page and find a post about your personal life that was obviously written by your boyfriend and makes you sound like a complete piece of crap. In that same post, your boyfriend says he's thinking about breaking up with you. That is now just out there for the whole world to read. You cannot say that would not be alarming. She said it felt like a slap in the face, which made me feel pretty crappy for posting it at all. All things considered, I think she was pretty reasonable about it. Ultimately, she was cool about me posting the update and actually wanted to make sure I thanked Reddit for the perspective. And no, she is not demanding to approve this update, she's just involved now, as she would be since she's half of this relationship. And indeed guys, that is why I would absolutely advise against posting on subreddits such as relationship advice, because these subreddits are absolutely huge and a thread has the potential to come to the front page of Reddit and essentially everybody will see it. This is not some sort of private subreddit, but instead it is actually one of the biggest on Reddit. At least personally, I would not feel comfortable posting about my private life there. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Little warning for the next one, it is a tiny bit graphic and also it does not really have a satisfying update, but it is still a very intriguing, interesting story. It is titled, "Terrified that my 25 female, husband 28 male, has been having intercourse with me while I am asleep, and now I am pregnant." For some context, I have a serious medical condition that requires some pretty heavy medication. It does a lot of things, including destroy my sex drive and knock me out for long periods of time. My husband and I were married before I was diagnosed and he supported me through diagnosis and treatment. He's a wonderful man. We used to have a very active sex life and it has been a considerable strain on our marriage that I never feel in the mood. I feel like a terrible wife in this regard and I miss being able to do what we both enjoy. To be clear, when I take my medication I am dead to the world. You could blast a fire alarm next to me and I would not wake up. You could pick me up and toss me around and I might not wake up. Lately I felt worse than normal, really sick, dizzy, uncomfortable, etc. I went to my doctor, scared I might be sick with the virus, and it turns out I am pregnant 5 weeks. But I have not had intercourse with my husband in at least 2 months, maybe more. I did not cheat on him, I was not assaulted by anyone anywhere that I know of, this was not immaculate conception. I told my husband and he was surprised. It is probably 1,000,000 in 1 chance I got pregnant due to the medication that I'm on and my condition. He was shocked and then excited, and I was just so relieved he did not accuse me of cheating that I did not stop to consider why he didn't. It has been a few days. I've been thinking about when I first started taking my medication. It was hard for him to adjust to me not wanting to have intercourse, and he used to joke that I could just lay there and watch TV while we do it. Or, and here is what makes me scared, he used to joke that he could just have sex with me while I am sleeping and that way I don't have to deal with it and he can be satisfied. He has mentioned this a couple of times but always lets it drop when I am not okay with it. I've started thinking about all the times I woke up in the morning and had uncomfortable pelvic pressure that usually only comes for me after I have intercourse. My husband likes to be rough and I don't really mind. We were always pretty wild in bed or adventurous, or bruises I've had that I cannot explain. I confronted my husband about this, about me being scared he did this to me, and at the least why he was not surprised the dates don't match up. He was angry I would accuse him of something so horrible and insists that I am just misremembering the last time we had sex. The medication does play with my memory sometimes, but I remember the last time we had intercourse. I remember every time we have it now because I don't enjoy it. I don't want to panic, I don't want to talk myself into being convinced he's been having intercourse with me while I am asleep, and I don't want to talk myself out of this possibility just to protect our marriage. But I am terrified. This is the only possibility I can come up with, and if it is true, I don't know what to do. I've been heartbroken for a while over the idea that I would not be able to have kids. Now, I am going to have a baby and I am so happy, but what if this baby happened because of what my husband did? Edit, I just wanna say the response to this has been insane. Thank you so much to everyone. I am really lost and I don't know what to do or to think. I'm going to take some time to think about this, get additional information and resources depending on however this is going to go, and figure it out. Just to be clear, however, because there are too many responses to answer directly, no, I have never given permission for my husband to have intercourse with me while I am sleeping. Yes, I have asked him if I have ever instigated something while asleep, sleepwalked, sleep spoke, or did anything in my sleep related to intercourse, and he answered no, we have never had intercourse outside of a time when I was fully cognizant and aware of what is happening. And yes, I am keeping the baby regardless of what happened. And a user in the comments said, have you had a dating ultrasound yet? The first appointments generally use your last period date along with general ovulation dates to determine how far along you are, and then they will do an ultrasound to see what stage the fetal growth is at to confirm. Or is it fetal? I'm not sure. Anyway, because 5 weeks and 7 to 8 weeks with your estimate of 2 months, I just wonder if perhaps you are a little further along. I don't want you to doubt yourself, but a couple weeks is not a lot to be off by. I would also talk to your doctor to figure out your memory lapses, because intercourse a week or 2 later and remembering it a little off could be possible. But listen to your gut, you know you and you know your husband, cover all of your bases until you feel safe. And wow guys, I gotta say, obviously, if this is really true, it is obviously a huge breach of trust, but unfortunately, there was an update to the story, but it was deleted, so we cannot read it. If you would be in the position of the wife in this story, what would you do? Would you stay together with your husband? Let us know in the comments. And the last one was posted by user Mrs. Whitney in our own subreddit r/ripe stories, and it is titled, Husband and I go no contact with my mother-in-law and stepdaughter's mom goes behind our back to send her for days at mother-in-law's house. Okay, so this might be a little confusing as I am still upset about this as I'm writing. I will try to clear things up in the comments if necessary. Background information: I, 24 female, am married to my husband, 29 male, who has a daughter with his ex, 26 female. My husband and I have recently gone full no contact with my just no mother-in-law. Over the past year she has begun having mental breakdowns with screaming, crying, etc. On Christmas Eve last year, my father-in-law decided to leave her because of this behavior and then returned a couple of months because his family told him he made a commitment. She called me at work in January screaming at me because my husband and father-in-law had made plans for them to watch my daughter for the day because we thought it would be nice for them to see her as they had been asking. She was upset that she was not included in the plans for this and told me that as someone who is going to be her daughter-in-law, I needed to learn to do what she says. She also said that my husband and his father were too dumb to talk to each other and that they cannot make plans. I ended up hanging up on her and blocking her number. Due to this, we became concerned about her mental health and stability. I am a licensed therapist, so I am not exaggerating or uneducated in this area. This made us decide to no longer allow our daughter to go to their home as my father-in-law could not promise to not leave her and my mother-in-law alone together. My husband and I had recently reopened communication with them in June, and it seemed that my mother-in-law had become more stable and we began coming over for family dinners and allowing them to see our daughter again. Due to the current virus going around, we decided to elope this July and decided to not share that info with our families as that is what eloping is. We also felt like a wedding is not important and it was turning into our parents feeling like we owed them a wedding, so we decided to just get married with a couple friends for witnesses and an officiant. My mother-in-law was incredibly upset when we did this and went around to all of my husband's family demanding to know who had attended and informed us that she would not be speaking to us until she could calm down. We understood how hurt feelings could come from this and gave her space. A few weeks later, my mother-in-law confronted my husband about us not speaking with her much anymore and stated that she felt like he was disrespecting her. I won't go into details because it is not my story to share, but my husband was severely abused and neglected by his mother and her ex-husband as a child. He always believed that because his mom was not as bad as his stepfather, then it meant that his mom was a good parent. As an adult, he has realized that she was also abusive and this conversation was triggering for him, and he began a dialogue where he confronted her about the abuse. My mother-in-law began threatening him and my father-in-law joined in threatening my husband to stop talking about the abuse and to get over it. My husband made it clear that we were going no contact and that he wanted them to have no contact with myself and our daughter as well. My husband's daughter lives with us nearly full time, seeing her mom a couple days a week to every other week. She's been in contact with my mother-in-law on friendly terms for the last couple months. When picking up our daughter today, she informed us that her mother had arranged a visit with my mother-in-law on Monday and that her mom would be picking her up to deliver her to my mother-in-law. First off, Monday is a school day, so she wouldn't be able to go to someone else's house anyway. Secondly, we are very upset about this due to feelings like the safety of our child is being put at risk. My husband will be talking with my daughter's mother soon about this and hopefully we can all get on the same page. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.